Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm not going to tell you about poor decision making this morning because I'm on a kick this morning. My name is Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, and the laced up legislator for the House of Delegates 93rd District. So grateful to have you this morning. Listen, okay, I'm over here trying to get my life right. Do you see this? I have this morning just for itinerary and stuff and things. This morning, there are very few times first thing in the morning. Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. There are very few times when I schedule super early morning meetings. Good morning, Mr. Little. Super early, right? But I do. Let me tell. I'm a person. I love a first thing in the morning meeting. I'm cool with it. I'm fine with it. I push the line with it. But this morning I'm supposed to be in Hampton really early. Now, you know the difference from being somewhere in Norfolk at 8 o'clock and the difference from being somewhere in Hampton at 8, 9 o'clock is two different things. I'm pushing it this morning. Good morning, Marquis. I'm pushing it. Like I'm, as my father would say, child, you cruising for a bruising. You cruising for a bruising, making these decisions. So y'all gonna have to do the proverbial get ready with me. Like I can't do that while I'm sitting here. I can't. I just can't. I want to try to, but I just uh, I'm not that coordinated. If you don't know this about me, or let me share a little bit of something about myself. I remember this is Morning Dew for certified doers just like you. If you're new here, this is your space and place, right? This is your opportunity to ask the questions, make the comments, do all the things with me, Delegate Jackie Hope Glass, the representative for the 93rd District. If you haven't already, please make sure you are following the work that we're doing. I am getting our office up to date on all the things. We haven't been, this summer's been a real kind of whack summer of just like not posting much of anything, but we've been consistent with the Morning Dew. That's something that I promise made, promise kept. I said I would do. We're going to continue to do it. So if you want to, actually, if you've got an org, you got something that you want to make sure we share, we've started opening up slots for people to join us on the Morning Dew. If you got something, do not hesitate to reach out to my office. Actually, I'm gonna have to get the banner rolling at the bottom of the screen. Make sure that's the right one. But you can reach out to the office and let us know, and then just come on through. But let me say this. So there's that. There's a lot going on right now. And I'm gonna say this about myself, then I'll tell y'all what's going on. So if you see this, like before I was elected, I assure you, there was no makeup, there was no nails, there was none of these things. There were none of these things. I don't say people say tomboy, but I don't like that. I grew up involved in a lot of things, right? So like I did not really care about how my hair looked. I did not care about none of that stuff because I was going to practice anyway. It didn't matter. And when I got elected, my mom says to me, she was like, Jackie, can you at least wear some lipstick so you look like somebody? So I've been trying. Then she said, Jackie, you're moving your hands. Can you at least put your nails done? Because, people looking at your hands. I said, I try. But, that's that. So let me tell you this, to other news, other things happening. I recently, I don't know if y'all, the effects of the weather, right? We recently in the Commonwealth of Virginia had Hurricane Helene. I keep saying Helene, because I think I'm thinking about the South Side. Helene went through not only North Carolina. We're hearing a lot of the stories about North Carolina right now, but it also went through Southwest Virginia. And as you know, the work that we do at the state level, you get the opportunity to kind of get to know some of the people that live in these places, because what I do think is living in an urban area, it can kind of cut your mind off from the fact that Virginia has mountains and valleys and has this very rural part of it that, unlike us on the coast, probably did not suspect that they would ever need something like flood insurance, that they would ever need to worry about their homes being torn apart by a hurricane, or not ever, but just not as likely for us on the coast. So the past weekend, Um, we spent some time just trying to reach out to some of those legislators on the Southwest, um, just to check in and see. And it can be really hard. The way I kind of explained it to one that I think I have a deeper relationship is like when someone when someone gets shot in our community, right? Like that is not shooting is not a naturally occurring thing, right? But it is a thing that can cause devastation. It's a thing that can, while it may mess up, it may take a life or two, and I am not saying that lightly. It affects a broader community. And so while this hurricane was a very natural thing for some of our neighbors out in the Southwest, it definitely wasn't in their front of their mind that it's something that could take all of their livelihood. And so um, when we have trauma like that happen, these things are trauma to our community. And I hope, that they feel, supported. And there's some things that need to happen at the federal level that are happening. United Way of Southwest Virginia is taking the helm of trying to support and help folks out. So if you're in the season in your life where you're able to give a little bit, United Way of Southwest Virginia is actually helping some of those folks out that way. I believe at least 2 lives were lost in the Commonwealth due to the storm. There's no sound. Oh my gosh. You can't hear me on IG? Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can't hear me. You still can't hear me on IG? Oh, okay, I was making sure. I was about to say, tell me something good. I got a new camera, so I'm trying to roll with it. Okay, thank you, Marky. I appreciate you. Yeah, all right, good. Don't have me sweating out in here. But if you have the capabilities to give, United Way of Southwest Virginia is doing the work there to just make sure that those folks are a-okay. Okay. Now, y'all, it is that time. Okay. We are in crunch time in our legislative season. And this is why I think I want everybody to come to summer school, but it's October. So like next month is the last, this is my last, maybe I got about a month and a half before I have to file everything that I want to file. And then I go on a limit of 5 bills. So here's what happens, y'all. It is 2024. 2024, remember, is a long session, right? Because it is an even year. Look at me trying to, because in even years, we create a brand new budget. You know what I mean? It's like we get a fat check. Not really. We're always flush, right? We have it that we'll always have a balanced budget, but in every other year, we start fresh, right? So it takes us longer and we have to work longer up in Richmond to like build our budget. It's like, trying to figure out something to compare it to. But then it's because it's biennial, but then in odd years, which next year is 2025, it's an odd year. So what's going to happen is we're not building a whole new budget. We're just going to make little changes to the budget we already have, right? And then in 2026, we'll build a new budget. We'll have a new governor, but that governor will be working off the previous governor's budget. It's always like an overlap, y'all. So each governor gets 2 stabs at creating a budget, but they're only working on their own budget for 2 years of their term. Y'all see how that works? Like it's kind of wild. Like it's kind of something you got to buy into if you're going to do. So that means that next year, 2025, it's a short session for me. So I am limited. They when on a long session, they're like, y'all can bring as many bills as y'all want. If you want to do 59 bills, then do 59 bills. But I'm limited to 15. And let me just tell you the kinds of conversations that we've been having. Yesterday, I sat down and had a conversation with the director, and Jay the barber, you'll understand this. I sat down and talked with the new director for the Department of Professional and Occupational Regulations. I think the R stands for regulations. So it's called DPOR. And they're the people that pretty much do all of the professional certifications, from nail techs to barbers to wrestlers to architects, to realtors, all the things in between. And good morning. And we talked about the advent of AI and doing some of those jobs, and where do we put in and say, like, yo, if the regulation said that a barber, y'all contractors been dope, contractors, everything between. But when we start interjecting computer systems into the work that we're doing, at what point do we put guardrails, or do we say these certain things have to have I'm calling it I don't want to say a human touch point in them. So for example, an architect can say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and have this AI system or this system build out the plans for this home, right? Just do it for me. Yeah. And hand it in and it's good to go, right? No, like at some point there has to be a human, because we're requiring, it's a certification that we're requiring a human to go through a process to qualify for. So there's got to be some checks and balance by which we allow the advent of technology, which, y'all, is not a terrible thing. It is not the worst thing. We thought Google was going to kill us. If you're in a place where you're like, FAI, I can't get down with it, it's the terrible, the worst, you're probably going to get left behind, because it's moving pretty fast. And these models are thinking and doing all kinds of things now. So we had a very good conversation about what they can and do, what we can do, and then how we as a legislator can be a good partner. So for me, when I'm building things, y'all know I spend all summer trying to hear from the community. So all summer, I'm doing the touch points with you, the community, then finding out what our list of things are. And then now, September, October, I'm working with the departments and the organizations, trying to make sure that, that we're not doing something that's going to put people out of order. So in that same vein, I'm wrestling with myself right now as to whether or not I'm going to bring back a bill that has to do with youth interrogations. I have the belief that I do not believe that police should lie to people under the age of 18. I just don't think that that's something, I don't think that's good practice, all things considered, of what we're dealing with the child's mind. I have to have conversations with, the Department of, they call it DCJS, the Department of Criminal Justice Services. They set out the policy, how they're not regulating, meaning like they can't necessarily tell departments what to do, but they can say, here's how you should train to this standard. Here's what we believe here and there. So I'm working out right now all of the bills on my listing, everything from autonomous driving cars to police technology, to benefits cliff, to childcare, unorthodox childcare. That has been the biggest crux for me, is just working not only with fixing our secondary roads, right? Like, it's great that our highways are getting smoothed out, but what happens when there's congestion as soon as you get off the expressway? And so I'm looking at the committees that I'm on. If you all don't know, we get assigned to these there are 14 standing committees in the General Assembly, right? And I get assigned to 4 of them. So I'm on the Committee for Privileges and Elections, where I'm the subcommittee chair for Elections Administration. I'm on the Committee for Transportation, where I serve as the subcommittee chair for Transportation Innovation. I am on Communication Technology and Innovation Committee, where I serve as the subcommittee chair for the subcommittee on communications. And then I hate to say my favorite committee, because I do love all the committees that I own. I'm definitely here for it. But I also serve on Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources. I love that committee. There's so much. I feel like I am constantly learning new things on that committee. Good morning, Boniface. It's so good to see you all the way across the water. What time is it for you right now, Boniface, for you to be up later at some time about You probably should change the best way. Okay, so no worries. Marquis said, what's the best way to contact me? And this is for anybody, right? This is not just for Marquis, but if you are looking at trying to get a policy change, like what I have right now, I'm pretty set with. But if something comes along where it feels like we need to go ahead and make that move, the best way to get a hold of our office is scrolling across the bottom is the email address. That is probably the best way because there's several eyes on that inbox. So it's Del, DEL for delegate, J for Jackie, glass like a glass of water for my last name, at house.virginia, spelled all the way out, .gov. I wish they just would have did va.va.gov. That would be so cool. But yes, there is there's no throwing anything off here. Like, this is your time. I would much rather you all ask questions or whatever that is during this time, because this is for you. And I'm looking. So we are looking at several things. The work that we've been doing with creatives, we're still thinking on how to bring that back. Definitely going to work on probably a bill that deals with consumer protections. I really feel strongly about consumer protections with solar and with creative capital. So we're looking at so many things. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. You're welcome. I just meant to say you're welcome. We're looking at several different things, but yes, there's still time for you all to sort of put things in the bucket, because here's what I know, right? Like, I'm not capable of carrying all the things, especially when I have a bill limit of 15 this next session. However, I recently was given a bill about court-involved veterans. Oh, I have a big announcement. And it just became official this week. I'll talk about it before we go. But I just recently was interfacing with, if you're a veteran out there, there's 2 statewide committees that you should be aware of. It's the Joint Leadership Council, which is a group of veterans that needs to look a bit more diverse generationally, all the things. So if you're interested, let's start pulling some names together, folks. But so you have the JLC, and then you have the BVS, the Board of Veterans Services, and that's pretty much the convening of a bunch of different folks that interface. So everyone from the Department of Veteran Services to the JLC folks to partnering organizations that do the work on a national level. So they asked about a bill for court-involved veterans. I drafted the bill, right? Like, I went ahead and got the ball rolling because remember I said we're limited. Make it a great day. Set your intention. That I drafted a bill because remember I said I've got pretty much 1 more month before I can't draft any, or I can draft anymore, but I'll be on a limit of drafting 5. I can draft as many bills as I want. I could draft 1,000, get 1,000 bills drafted. But for this session, remember, I can only carry 15. So I drafted the bill and then I transferred that bill to another delegate because there was someone that probably better than me to handle that particular issue. I don't even want to say better, but maybe that's what I want to say is my ego's in check. And I recognize when there may be an advocate that can carry something much further along and do some really good things with something, or it's just a good pairing, right? Like, I'm not necessarily going to drink red wine with fish. If you're that kind of person, right? I'm going to put it with my steak. And that's how I am. I just want things to pair the right person with the right idea for the maximum amount of getting things passed. Hey, Queen. Oh, Queen's Rising. Hey, how you doing? Good morning. But yeah, that's it. So you may have an idea, Marquis, that I may be like, it doesn't necessarily fit for me right now. But what I can do is I can shop it around or think in my little Rolodex of brain of who I think might be a great pairing for that. There are 100 delegates, right? And 40 senators. And so it is a team effort to do the things for the Commonwealth. So it's like, you got to kind of get to know your team. And that's what I sort of try to do is catalogs people's strengths and weaknesses. In my opinion, right? I don't know what they feel like their strengths or weaknesses, but the topics that they're doing and all those things to sort of help us do work better, because I'll be needing help. And that same thing goes for you all in the community, is that as you follow along and do the things with us, like you may have expertise that is not in my office, and you may know you've got to interface with us. This process only gets better when you make the choice to say, you know what, I know a whole lot about uh, youth interrogations, because I was a youth that was interrogated, right? Jackie, you doing this work, but see, you haven't looked at this perspective. And that is where you come in, and that is where you're super vital, and with ideas. I am carrying a bill. I haven't got the draft back yet, but that came from a constituent that essentially said, hey, you know what, Dahlia Glass, I'm a musician, and we have ABC laws that disincentivize live entertainment at food places, right? Certain types of live entertainment. And so is there any way that we can help sort of mitigate some of that to allow space for it? And yeah, I'm like, yeah, let's look into it. So we're always going to look into things. Good morning, Francis. Good morning. So with that, I will also say, yeah, that's how you can help too. So Queens Rising said, how can we help you right now? Really, my primary goal, because I haven't done it all summer, is fundraising. I just had a fundraiser the other day. If you missed it, I'm sorry. I wish you could have been there. It was karaoke with the Speaker of the House, which was amazing and fun and all the things. But I'm fundraising right now. So I genuinely am out here hat in hand saying, hey, I've got to fundraise by January, because I can't fundraise while I'm in session. I need to fundraise about $40,000. Thereabouts. My team is, if they're listening to you, probably like, no, Jackie, $50,000. You need to fundraise about 50. That's my fundraising goal. So I've got a very short window to get it together. What that does for me is it allows me to, I keep one staff member that is dedicated to showing up and coordinating with the community. And that does cost me about, that's out of pocket. So I fundraise about $40,000 to keep that person on staff. And then just like, I have to pay for StreamYard. I have to pay for, I get a supply stipend, paying for Zoom, making sure we have like those little things, operational things. So cash flow wise, not in the best place, but I'm working to get there. So that is like, if anything, if I were to ask anything of anyone, just like, yo, can you put us in your budget, or ask your friend if you believe in the work we do and how we do it, please. All the things works. And that's what we need at the moment. But yes, I see that you are a DVS. Yes, Abby, trying to open a transition home for women. I don't know a whole lot about opening up, but we can find the right resources to, if there's any way that we can be of service. If you can't, I can't put the comments on Instagram up. So I'm reading from comment from Queens Rising, says she's a domestic violence and sexual assault advocate trying to open a transition home for women. Great work, obviously, that's heart work. So if there's any way that we can be service and connecting some dots, please let us know. I'll do my very, 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 very best. But yeah, so as we wind down, if you have any questions and comments, I got about 2 more minutes here. Because like I said, your girl was not managing right. I coordinate on my schedule. I don't necessarily make my schedule, but I got to be in Hampton. And I said, do I have enough time to make it to what is happening? So not the best choices. And I decided maybe I'll just get up 30 minutes before it's time for me to. Are you willing to accept the consequences for your actions? Because I am. So next week, just letting you all know, I'm going to call it our last policy roundtable. Next Tuesday, 6:00, 1 hour, we will be doing a policy roundtable on election reform. These roundtables have been so good. They're only an hour long. We bring in experts. We just have a kitchen conversation. Actually, not even a kitchen. We have a living room conversation about these things and where you can ask all the questions. I did recently interface with a person in the community that's like, hey, I got a rejection letter back for my registration. So I need y'all, if y'all have not registered and you plan to vote, um, this is always a judgment free zone. So I recognize there are people in my life that are like, yo, Jackie, I'm not voting, I'm not doing it. And I'm still on the train of like trying to help them see the value and in doing that, right? Because our whole lives are legislated. And if you're not part of the decision making of who gets to do what, then come on, man. Um, so I'm holding in my hands that I definitely have people in my life that are just like no. However, if you are a person that absolutely wants the opportunity to vote, then I need you to go ahead and make sure you're registered. This person's address was jacked up, and so that was a thing. There's always same day voting, right? Like same day registration, but you don't want you. I mean, that is great to have it there, especially if you find someone that's like, I didn't even know. Make it happen, but get out there, just do it early. I mean, I personally, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Personally, I vote on that Tuesday because I've made it a habit to do that with my daughter. We've been doing that since she was like 5 or 6 years old, going to the bowling booth, walking in there with me, doing the thing before she goes to school. That is something that I will not stop doing until she says, "All right, mom." Then maybe I'll vote early. However, if you have the opportunity to do it, check your status too. Go to elections.virginia.gov and just check your status and check your people's status. Get on the permanent absentee list. This is, oh, you do that too, Francis? I love it. But you can get on the permanent absentee list, meaning you can have your ballot mailed to your house. Did you hear me? Mailed to your place, okay? And you just cash your boy and put that bad boy in the mail. I will preface by saying this, and this is what we'll also say next week, is that if you plan on mailing in your ballot, do it early. You know how your mail gets to your house right now, okay? And we're not pointing fingers at the postal service because they are overworked and undermanned. Is there another word? Understaffed, right? So they are doing the best they can, but the mail service is not the most reliable right now. So if you know somebody that gets their ballot mailed to them, just tell them, go ahead and make it happen, Captain. Go ahead, let's go. Pop that bad boy in. There was an issue with some ballots being like already sealed because of moisture and things like that. If you have that issue, do not fret, okay? Put it in there, seal it up, all the good things. Hopefully we'll hear something from the state about how they doing this because that's really happening. Yeah. Oh, okay. So Francis says, my daughter turns 15 today. I'm so ready to see her vote for the first time. Yeah, my son just turned 18 2 weeks ago. And we're going to have definitely an interesting October 20th. Mark your calendars. I'm just getting the dates, the time finalized. But he and I are going to have a very interesting conversation about voting on live on a Sunday because that's the only day he can give me. Okay. All right. Because he's a busy man. He's a college man now. He's so busy. he's so busy. He ain't got time for me like that, which I can appreciate. Oh, Queen Rising, I'm sorry. We appreciate all you do in the community. Oh, gratitude. I likewise, if I could see all the things that everyone is doing, because I know we're like little ants in this world, just sort of everybody doing their part to make the hill. I would say the same thing. I do appreciate all that you all do. I don't see any other questions, so I'm going to go ahead and transition because I got to get myself across this water today. But Francis, you keep it up. If y'all could look, the song from back in the day said, stunting is a habit. And if you're not familiar with it, it's fine. That's fine. Because stunting is a habit. But voting is a habit. Okay? Like, right now it's a character trait. Okay, for me. Not only is voting a habit, it's a character trait. So I don't mean to get all judgy because I'm not, I told you I'm judgment free. So I'm definitely open to all opinions to why we do or do not do what we want to do. But if you run into any trouble, please do not hesitate to reach out to the office. Again, across the screen is our come on, Jackie, get it out. um, is our email address as well as our phone number. If you're on Instagram, in the bio, you can always get all the information that we have going on. Otherwise, y'all, it's always a pleasure on Thursday morning. Yeah. Look, Queen Rising, don't you do it. Don't you make my heart sing. She said, voting for people like you is what brings change. Yeah. And then this is the thing is I genuinely can't do it by myself. It can be very, very lonely when you lead with principle. Oh, geez. Anyway, I so appreciate that. I need to hear that. It makes my heart sing, and I hope that you all feel encouraged and empowered enough to check my neck if I get off track. I do my very, very, very best to not steer away. We're still new in the game, right? This will be the fourth session, second term, so I'm up for reelection next year. But yeah, we're doing our best, right? And it's because y'all keep us informed and keep us humble and keep us connected, because in leadership, as you move up the chain in leadership, as my chief of staff, she always used to say this, is that when you move up in leadership, you lose clarity of below, of what's happening. And that's not to say people are beneath you, but you're rising up and you're losing clarity. And so it is going to be so important that people that are still operating in this space you are connected to, so that you can get that clarity, because you're not going to be able to see, you're not going to be able to look down or look across and see it, because you're in a different place taking care of different things. And I'm all for you all being my glasses. All right, I could keep talking forever, but I'm not. I'm gonna go. So, and I stand with you. I mean it. I stand with you as well. So this is Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, just like you, and the latest up legislator for the House of Delegates, 93rd District. Honored and grateful to serve. I'll catch you in these streets or on next Thursday. All right. Be well. Take care. Bye. Hey, Trisha. Good to see you. See y'all. Make it a great day.